Thanks for watching the Council in Brief. I'm Susan Kennedy. We're here with the latest news of the Montgomery County Council. We begin this week with the introduction of a revised bill that would raise the minimum wage to $15 per hour by the year 2020, with some exceptions for some local small businesses. The lead sponsor of the measure is Mark Elrich, and he's joined by Council members Leventhal, Reamer, Hucker, and Navarro. The council passed the first minimum wage bill in January by a 5-4 vote, but County Executive Ike Leggett vetoed that measure.
So I've laid out three reservations that I hope that the council will go back and look at.
Councilmember Mark Elrich says this is a different bill.
In the previous bill, we had included the nonprofits in the 2020 year, and after a lot of talk with folks in the nonprofit community, we changed the nonprofits to 2022, and we included a group of adult daycare providers where they have facilities, and their facility payments are limited, I think, by Medicare, and the amount they get from Medicare is not changeable.
Elrich says it's time to get moving on boosting pay for working families. As the cost of living continues to go up in this area, so should the wages.
My view is this is not a debate about whether it's worth paying somebody $15 for flipping a hamburger. We could debate this endlessly. I mean, I start from the premise that if a human being does a job, the job ought to pay enough for the human being to live on.
But it is an issue that there are two competing truths. One is that people work too hard for too little in our county, and the second is that it does have an adverse impact, particularly on our small business community. So it's reconciling those two truths that is, to me, the challenge going forward.
County Executive Ike Leggett has released his own study looking at the impact of an increased minimum wage on small businesses. Councilmember Elrich says despite those findings, they will continue to move forward with this legislation.
Like everything else, this is going to be one more conflicting study in a sea of conflicting studies. And I don't think it changes the fundamental problem that then what the heck will you do if you're not doing wages? How are you going to address people's basic needs?
The measure will be back before the council in September. Montgomery County has a human trafficking task force that works to prevent human trafficking here. However, this group cannot officially advise the county because it does not have the written authority to do so. But a new bill introduced at the council would create a permanent committee with the power to vote on recommendations to combat human trafficking.
This is an issue that is true in our county as in many other places, particularly when it comes to prostitution. In our county, there is enough of it to warrant our ongoing concern with respect to this matter. And so this will allow the task force to continue and to report regularly to us and to ensure that we as policymakers have the information we need to go forward and protect our community from being exploited in this way.
So far this year, Montgomery County has experienced 31 overdose deaths involving heroin or other opioids. That's a 44% increase from last year. The opioid epidemic has not hit Montgomery County as hard as other parts of the state, but officials say it shows no signs of slowing down. Members of the county's Public Safety Committee heard from police and fire and rescue officials about statistics and how more EMS staff and police are being trained to carry Narcan.
We recently switched over, thanks to HHS. They turned us on to a self-administering. It looks exactly like an Afrin container for the galley. Essentially, we use one per each nostril, and we peel the pull tab on it, administer the drug into the nasal passages, and then we just wait for the results.
How long is the training for the officers?
2 hours.
2 hours. So after today or whatever, you're going to have a substantial number of people that'll be.
Well, we'll have 30 plus trained this afternoon. I say 30 plus because we're doing some civilians that work at the stations. So we'll have 30 officers plus a few more civilians trained. We'll have another group of 30 this week later on the 27th, and then we have another class that's set up after that.
Well, that does it for this edition of the Council in Brief. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.